Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're having a special guest. Alex, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and why I chose you to be interviewed today.
My name's Alex Hurst. The reason why you chose me to be on your YouTube channel is because my family and my ancestors are the Borgias, and the Borgias married my family from Ferrara, the D'Este family from Ferrara.
Yes, I chose him because as maybe some of you know, I'm a huge fan of the Borgia families. In fact, I wrote a book about it, but mainly I read and keep reading and will never stop reading about it. Today I'm starting with this one, which I have already on my Instagram page, but then the conversation is going to slip away from the book matter, and we're going to talk about video games because Alex is quite fond of Assassin's Creed, I reckon.
Yeah, I love Assassin's Creed.
Me too.
I like that. That's really cool. I like that. I'm big into my Renaissance era. I'm also into the Tudor era as well. Well, not the Tudor era, but like the Scottish era. That was when Mary Queen of Scots, another ancestor of mine, was alive, and the reason why she's not married, is one of my ancestors because King James II, Son of Scotland, married my family member, Mary Modena, who was Francesco's daughter. And I've got a long list of family history and stuff like that. So, but yeah, the Renaissance era, and the Borgias, I was very close and personal to me because of who I am, and
Yeah, maybe later you could tell us how you did the research and found out who your ancestors were.
All right.
You don't mind?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm starting off presenting this book. It's called Alla Corte dei Borgia, but the English title is The Borgia Bride. It was first published in 2005. The author is Jean Kalogridis. I don't know how to read that. Sounds Greek, Kalogridis, but she's from the USA, from Florida, and she's author of other many historical novels, and not all from the same era, not all from the not all about the Borgias and the 16th centuries, but I reckon that she's very good at researching. She did a very good job of research on this book, and the book is also provides the reader, family trees and also maps to, if someone who wants to read a novel maybe doesn't know where every little Italian city is, so apart from Rome. So it's a very good book. I've actually made a list of pro and cons because I think the plot revolves around the historical character of Sancha of Aragon, who I think you know was Geoffrey Borgia's wife.
Yeah.
Geoffrey was Joffre, was Cesare and Lucrezia's youngest brother.
Giovanni was Rodrigo Borgia's favourite son.
Yeah.
Cesare was his second one, and Lucrezia Borgia was his favourite daughter.
Yes. Giovanni was his favorite son for not a long time because, as you know, died very young. Mysterious reasons. History blames Cesare, but who knows?
So do I. I blame my uncle Cesare for that.
I don't. Yeah, actually, I don't. I'm great at being apologetical towards mean, evil historical characters because I talk about it a lot in my book, in my historical romance. I give my own opinion on who could have been who could have actually killed Juan Giovanni Borgia, because I've read a lot about him too, and he was always so boasting about who he was. He wasn't very liked in Rome. He had lots of enemies, especially the Orsini family, whom he had recently he had been threatening for a while before being killed. So I think the Orsini family might be involved in his murder, but still, we don't know. We don't know. We're later when we talk about historical and fictional representation and misrepresentation of characters. Well, the good elements of this book. And the first one, I'd say that it is about a female character, which is a bit odd for historical romance because, well, mainly females and women in general weren't actually able to do anything glorious with their lives.
Yeah.
So a book that is set in medieval times with female protagonist is quite a big thing. And also, she's not Lucrezia. She is a lesser known character. Sancha is not nearly half as famous as Lucrezia or Caterina or other, Isabella d'Este, other
Isabella d'Este, another major woman in the family. Another one I love, but yeah, carry on.
I was just, so I think that it's a good thing that Sancha is a female and also a non-quite famous historical character, but still she's the protagonist of this book. And also the settings are nice. It starts describing her life, her early life in Naples, because she was an Aragon, so she lived in Naples. The writer is actually good at writing. She writes good dialogues, good descriptions and everything. The settings are nice, even when Sancha moves to Rome after marrying Goffredo. So it's these are the nice elements of the book.
Yeah.
The things I liked least was that it tends to focus too much on Cesare, because the rumors say that Cesare and Sancha had a relationship, an affair, but they say that Sancha had affairs with everyone in the Borgia family. So I don't know how true that could be. I feel like the Borgias have been mistreated as historians in their time.
That's what I thought as well. Well, I've got the DVD set of the Borgias, and I've got one of my cousins that lives in the States. I said to her, "What do you think about this?" She said, "It's all more film. They put everything I don't know what the word, but they put more emphasis into it. Cesare had an affair with his sister, but I don't think that they would have, because that was just and then there was she had an affair with the dad."
Yeah, you're talking about the series with Jeremy Irons?
Yes, that one. Yes,
I didn't like that one. I liked a lot the choice of the actors and the actresses, because I think they were brilliant, but the way that they developed the plot was really awful, because it was basically a love story about two incestuous people. So it didn't have much to do with history. In fact, I think I already told you this. There's another TV series about the Borgias. It came out basically in the same time when the other one was being. So I don't know why it's not quite famous. At least it is in Italy, because there were many Italian actors and actresses chosen for that one. But the one with Jeremy Irons was a lot more popular. So
I like the way that Jeremy Irons portrayed Rodrigo Borgia and Holiday, whatever. She did a good job. She did a good job of portraying Lucrezia Borgia, but I didn't like the actor David Oakes that played Giovanni at all. He just didn't. I didn't resonate with him. I resonate with Cesare and Lucrezia, and obviously the big man himself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Rodrigo Borgia. I resonate with them characters, but not so much the Giovanni. Don't know why.
Well, Giovanni was said to have been a very handsome man. So I think that choosing an actor that was not so handsome was already implying that he wasn't going to be, much important in the story, because
Yeah,
it's usually when directors choose their cast
yeah,
members, try to pick the most beautiful people ever. Like, the boy who played Cesare was quite handsome, and Lucrezia, actress, Holiday Granger, I think,
yeah.
was her name. She's so pretty. So they were supposed to be perfect and everything. While, also Jeremy Irons was a nice choice, but
Yeah, it was.
he was chosen because he was Jeremy Irons, not because he looked like Rodrigo. Because actually Rodrigo was not so
Good
handsome
looking.
himself.
He was ugly.
Well, at least the way he was portrayed in Affrescos, wasn't
Yeah.
much.
Like I went to where he was buried as well in Rome, and I seen his little tomb and everything with his was it his cousin, Cleptus? Was one of another family member? There was another pope in the family as well.
Yeah, Calixtus III, he was his uncle. It was
Yeah,
Alfonso Borgia. He was his name before becoming pope.
yeah. I went there to the church where they're buried, but where the stones and everything. I felt empowered. Like I felt at one. I felt like I don't know how to put it. Emotional. Like when
Well,
I
yeah.
went to Lucrezia Borgia's tomb in Ferrara. Like it just.
A
I,
haunting
yeah,
feeling.
and I spoke to one of the nuns that were there at the monastery in Ferrara. I said to her, "Can I take a photo of the tombs?" She said, "Just being in that room with the main woman that's portrayed as this beautiful woman in the Borgias, right? I felt connected with her and the rest of the family that was there. Does that make sense?"
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't know because I don't even know who my grandmother is, but
Yeah,
so and there I had some other things that I wanted to say. Yeah, basically, another thing that I didn't like about the book is that not only Sancha's life becomes a secondary plot, because she stops being the subject of her own story and she starts being an object. The main
yeah,
character, Cesare and Lucrezia mainly. Lucrezia is Sancha makes friends with Lucrezia in the beginning, but then she starts, becoming detached from her because
yeah.
she's things in Lucrezia which she doesn't like much, like the fact that she lives with her brother and father. So she starts disliking her and also despising her. She starts having pity of her, and I didn't like that because I'm a huge apologetical of Lucrezia,
Yeah.
and also the book gives actually a very bad depiction of the Borgias, which, I mean, every history book does. I'm used to
Exactly.
that. If you're writing a novel, you should know that there's plenty of this kind of representation of the Borgias, and depicting them as evil, as villains, doesn't really
Exactly.
give anything new to the
That's
bookish world.
that's what it says on my DVD case for the DVDs I got. It says the Borgias, the original crime family. I'm like, were they the original crime family? Obviously, there's more before them. So, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
In fact, I
it's
think
very they've made it like more for Hollywood sort of. Does that make sense? More representation for the Hollywood watchers, like when they go to watch something in the cinema or watch it on HBO. Does that make sense?
yeah, but every time I read a history book or I watch a documentary film, or I loved the Tudor TV series, the one that came out like 10 years ago. I don't know, I was a little kid, but I
The
loved
Tudors, the King Henry VIII. Yeah,
the
he
one.
would have been my great uncle.
I'm honored. I'm interviewing you, Your Highness.
But I'm a Duke, not minus. Duke of Ferrara.
But I think also in the Tudor series there was a lot of evil action.
Yeah,
Henry was not a saint. People remember
exactly.
him not because he's the founder of the Anglican Church. The people talk about him because he killed all his wives, which isn't true because he only killed like 2 out of 6
Yeah, and
souls.
then the rest were divorced and one survived.
I recently read a novel about his life. It was like 1,000 pages long
A
because
thousand. That's
yeah,
a
it was
lot.
like maybe 900, but it was
Uh,
big book because it was his whole life told by his own point of view. He narrated his own story, explaining why the things that he did, whether good or bad actions they were. So I think that it should be, normal for us
saying about
to.
like the good and the bad when when Alexander Pope VI was coming near his time of his death, he started to become a better person. That's what I read in one of the books. He opened a university in Aberdeen, where I live in Scotland. I don't live in Aberdeen, but I live in Edinburgh. But he opened, I think I read that he was somewhere that he opened the University of Aberdeen in Scotland as well, and he did a few more better things as well before the time of his life.
The thing is that I think that fiction works should do better in portraying evil characters.
Exactly.
Not because I don't think that everything needs to be forgiven. I don't mean to say that, like, oh, let's praise Hitler. He was a good person. No, well, of course he was not. But
Exactly.
there have been books about his life where he's portrayed as a normal man who did bad things. So why can the same thing be done about such a badly treated family as the Borgias? I have
Because
never read.
people like bad stuff instead of good stuff when it comes to like TV shows. That's the reason why, because they misinterpret it. They over exaggerate the truth for viewers and for the TV show.
Since we have, well, I've talked about books and we've talked about TV shows, so maybe we could do the same things about the video games. But
Awesome.
I know a bit about the Assassin's Creed Saga because I've watched every,
Walkthroughs.
yeah,
They're called
walkthrough. Oh, thank
walkthroughs.
you. I actually started playing Assassin's Creed video games, but I already know every plot because I've watched the walkthrough. So yeah. And so I already
Exactly.
know about it. But let's just pretend I don't know anything. Tell us about the Borgias in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
I've seen the TV show and I've played the game as well. They've in the game as they would do in the TV show, like over exaggerate the Borgias. Like Lucrezia Borgia was like this really dirty, naughty girl. Like do this. Rodrigo Borgia was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. If I don't do it, you don't do it, sort of thing like that. But I realised that I had to kill my family off. I was like pretty shocked. I was like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I've got to do it. It's a mission in the game. Do you know what I'm saying? But this, and then there's like Leonardo. He has to help the Cesare Borgia and stuff like that make cannon and stuff for his army and everything like that. Which is another cool little Easter egg because that's what he did as well in real life too. And I read that somewhere. I can't remember where I read it, but he did that as well. He helped Cesare, basically helped the whole family out. Like he did paintings for Isabella, Beatrice as well. But through the game and the TV show, they're sort of the same. They're sort of the same, but with the TV show, I harmonise with it more. But with the game, it's just the game to me. But it's still history in the making.
Yeah, I didn't like that the way Cesare died because when I was writing my book, I took a lot. I took very much at heart the way he
Yeah.
died, because his father died, his sister was married. He was actually forced to leave Italy because of Julius II. The new pope
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, he had been an enemy of the Borgias for a long time, and now he had actually become pope. So he was forced to leave Italy. He was imprisoned in Tordenona, and he left. He fled. He also hurt his leg, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And still, he kept fighting for his life. And then he went to Navarra and the Kingdom of Navarra. His wife Charlotte d'Albret
Yeah.
was daughter of the King of Navarra. So Cesare, it was like going home for him, I think.
Yeah.
So he must have been happy of fighting for King John of Navarra, because he was all he had left. His sister was with
My family.
Alfonso d'Este. Yeah, so she tried to help him when he was in prison, but the d'Este family they were quite happy that Rodrigo had died. So I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's what the history books say.
You don't need to say sorry. It's all good. It's in the past.
So I think that Cesare fighting for John of Navarra was
The final hope for him.
it could have been his way of rehabilitating himself. Fighting for someone who still considered him a good
Family.
person. Maybe,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, family, right. And so when I wrote about his death in my book, I also wanted him to be proud of what he was doing after many years of doing bad things.
Yeah.
But also because, well, let's face it was all Rodrigo's making. He still was the son of the Pope, so he had everything he did it for the family, for his father to be proud of him. Maybe
Exactly.
because he also had that sense of, I need to show him, to prove to Rodrigo that he was as valiant as Giovanni, and even more, maybe, because brother competition is
Exactly. Yeah. True.
so I think that Cesare could have lived longer.
Didn't he have syphilis as well? Yeah. He
Yeah,
actually had syphilis as well, and he wore a mask pretty much most of the time, didn't he, to hide his face.
yeah. In fact, that when he died, they didn't recognize him. When
Mm-hmm.
he died in battle at Vienna, he was not recognized. His clothes were stolen, his weapons, everything. He remained naked under the rain for a couple of days, and when they found him, it took a lot for his men to recognize him. So I think that the way he died, it was quite sad,
It
and
was.
I didn't like the way that Ezio Auditore killed him in the gate. I mean, I didn't like the final duel, Cesare against Ezio. I didn't like that. I know that every boy or girl who plays Assassin's Creed is a fan of Ezio Auditore, but not
So
me.
am I. I'm a fan of Ezio. Even though I shouldn't be saying it, but I'm a fan of Ezio Auditore.
I know that his storyline is quite remarkable and also quite sad, but I didn't like the fact that he killed Cesare. Not like that, but anyway, that's just my point of view. I was forgetting about the big elephant in the room. Cesare killing Rodrigo? Not on my
No,
watch.
it
Never.
was someone else. Someone else.
There's a lot of rumor about the way he died. They say he could have been poisoned. They say that he had contracted a disease. And also, Cesare also fell ill in the same time in Rome. He could have been poisoned by anyone in the consistory because, well, they didn't
He
like
wasn't
him.
liked that much.
Yeah, I think that part of the reason why the Borgias have always been disliked and are still disliked in today's history books is that they were of Spanish descent. I think Italians have always been racist even before Italy was even created. So that's very sad, but I think it could be one of the reasons. I think that they even called him the Spanish Pope when he was still alive.
Yeah,
So
they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, the Spanish bloke.
so it could be one of the reasons.
To be fair, I
Well,
felt sorry for him. Like everyone, a lot of people hated him, but the reason why I think they all hated him is because he did bad stuff before his final days, and then he decided to become a better person.
I really don't know, but that's the great thing that's the point of doing fiction. You could try and put yourself in the shoes of someone else who has lived, and you already know what he has done, or he or she has done in her life. So the only thing that you have to do is to make connections between before and after he's done a certain thing. So I think a good novelist should try and create something new. We already know what the Borgia did. Why write another book telling us about how fucking evil they were? What's the point? Tell us why. Tell us why do you think? I mean, yeah. Also, the incest thing, that they really think that brother and sister, or also father and daughter. That why could that be? If that has even happened, because well, it could also be, all rumors that they said and perpetrated so as to put the Borgias in a bad light. So,
True. You don't know what really happened. Well, no one knows what really happened. Only people that know what really happened is, Rodrigo and his family.
Exactly.
People wanna romanticize the fact what happened between all three people in the TV shows and the books. It just doesn't know what they don't know what they really did behind closed doors.
I really hope that they didn't actually do incestuous things, but even if they did, I am sure that they were not the only family. In fact, I remember I also wrote it in my book. There was another family in Umbria, the Baglioni. I don't know if you know this name. The Baglioni family, they were also accused of being incestuous between brother and sister. So, but nobody knows about the Baglioni. They all talk about the brothers. So...
Exactly. The history only talks about the important families like the Sporters, the D'Este family, and high nobles.
Well, the Baglioni were quite important. Of course, not nearly as important as the family of the Pope, but I think that once that they spot a bad wolf, the whole pack is damned. The rumors, especially the rumors surrounding the figure of Lucrezia, the rumors that she used poison on everyone, that she slept with everyone at court.
I don't think that's true. Like, if it was true, I don't think my ancestor would have married her. Really, the only reason why I think he married her is just to keep Rodrigo happy. Basically, that's the only reason why.
Anyway, that if you read any character's page on Wikipedia, you can see that he had a number of lovers. So if men could do it, why couldn't women do it? I mean, maybe Lucrezia had many lovers, maybe she did not, but even if she did,
right? Wait, she did. She did. There's there's a page there's a channel on YouTube about Lucrezia's love letters. You should really check that out. I'll message you on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll drop you the link for the description so you can listen to it and everything. So I think she was married to Alfonso at the time, or one of the two people, but and then she was having this secret love affair, not actually going and seeing each other. They were writing to each other about how they love each other.
Yeah, but, a platonic lover I could understand, because also the fact that they were writing letters, it's quite romantic. And let's not forget that Alfonso d'Este was mecenate, which means funding poets and artists, and he paid them to come to his court and sing and do their arts. The court of Ferrara was surrounded by a number of artists and poets who mainly wrote and sang about love. So it's quite likely that Lucrezia could have grown fond for some of them, considering the fact that maybe she wasn't even around Alfonso for a long time, because
she wasn't really.
Women when they got married in the Renaissance and also the medieval times, they didn't really share anything. They were just married, but they didn't even sleep together all the time. They didn't share rooms. So the men were very busy doing other things, maybe involved with politics, and didn't really have time to spend with their wives, who actually spent their time with the children, maybe, because Lucrezia had a number of children, so I suppose that she was busy with them.
One of her sons was a cardinal as well. Alessandro d'Este became a cardinal.
Yeah, basically, this is what I think about writing fiction works about historical characters. And we've taken into consideration the Borgia family, but this could be said about everyone, every historical character. There are characters like Christopher Columbus, who is believed to be a hero, but actually he was quite awful what he did. Well, to the American Indians. Or
I'm Native American. I'm adopted. My birth mom is Native American. My biological dad is Italian, Native American as well.
So maybe you could tell us about how you found out about your noble descent.
Well, I was adopted when I was born, right? My adopted mom made me this book about my biological dad and biological mum. So I thought I'll give my biological dad a find on Facebook, and I found him. And he told me about these crazy people who I was related to. And he said to me, "Oh, do you know who you're related to?" I'm like, "Who's that?" Christopher Columbus. I was like, "Oh, no way, that's really cool." And then my family in the States have this family reunion every year. And one of my family members did research of where we came from. And we happened to start from Este, which is where Falco got the name for his family's name, Este, because it's a small town in northern Italy. And so we moved from Este to Ferrara. And that's where that's where my ancestors laid the family foundaries and roots for the family. And we moved over to the UK through like marriage for royalty and everything like that. As I said, one of my ancestors married Modena. He married King James II. And then after that, we moved to the States. Then after that, we became normal people, really. Like, and one of my relatives right now is the Queen of the UK, because she's a distant relative of William the Orange, who was King James's son-in-law. So
it's impressive.
It's crazy.
I can see from some comments under your pictures that you're in touch with other Borgia relatives.
Yeah.
How many of you there are? How many do you know? How many Borgias?
There's a few. There's a couple, but through the Este side, there's over 500 of the Este still going, and they're all in the States.
Okay, yeah, maybe you told me about that. One of our distant cousins. Do you all look like you? Because you actually look like Alfonso d'Este. Do the others look like? Do your other cousins look like someone like Lucrezia? No one.
No
Only you.
one.
Well, I thank you for spending some time with me, and so I thank you, and we both thank everyone who has watched us.
Grazie.
Yeah, grazie.
Have a nice day, all right?
Bye-bye.
Bye.